Hi there, I'm SeanCowhig, an actor, writer, producer living out here in Los Angeles, California. I just got interviewed by Keith Andrew and I had the best time. So make sure you check out this episode on Keith Andrew Network. All right, we're counting on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Keith Andrew and welcome to the Keith Andrew Network. It is episode 796. Today we have professional actor, director, and writer SeanCowhig on the show. It was a real honor and privilege having him here with us. Make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network, available Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. You will do hashtag Keith Andrew Network and start off with your catchphrase. And then we're going to jump into a great episode. And remember to like and subscribe. And I'll catch you later. Now, before we get started, the first thing I want to say to our listeners, the whole point of my talk show is to show people that even with having a learning disability, I can still amount to something. At the same time, I'm able to turn myself into an example for people out there dealing with any types of learning disabilities and disabilities to never give up and prove people wrong. Prove to them that labels do not dictate who you are and who you're going to be. To prove them against them out to something. So hashtag break the label. So the first question I want to ask you is, you mentioned you're an actor, writer, producer, so I have some great questions for you. So the first one I'm going to ask you is, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to do what you do now.
Yeah. Well, hello. My name is SeanCowhig, and I am an actor and a writer and a producer and an improv teacher living in Los Angeles. It all started, I'm originally from the North Shore of Massachusetts, a little town called Wenham, Massachusetts. To give context to Wenham, it's very, very close to Salem. That's usually the place that people are able to now know where I'm from. I'm from near Salem, Massachusetts. And I started doing theater in high school. And with the same high school theater director and teacher at the high school, we started doing summer stock theater. He started a summer stock theater company, and we would do outdoor, full-on Shakespeare productions. And that's how I fell in love with acting. And that love led me to college to study acting, led me to Los Angeles to continue my pursuit of this crazy dream.
Absolutely. And I wasn't like giving me a sign out wrapping up. I didn't realize the shirt freaking shrunk on me. It's one of my favorite shirts, and I think I got, after I know I have a fat neck, I have to go on a diet. I think it kind of shrunk.
Oh no. Yeah, that'll happen. You wash a shirt too many times and then yep.
I hear you. Actually, today, just a little plug, I actually got my first shot. And in 2 weeks, I get my second one. What about you?
Yeah, same. I got my second one is actually next Sunday. So I got my first one a couple weeks ago. A friend of mine just got her second one yesterday, and actually Sunday. It wiped her out yesterday. So look out for that second shot. Apparently, it's a doozy.
Yeah, I hear from my parents, and even you said it wipes you out. So how long does the how long does the symptoms usually last for?
Apparently 24 hours. That's what I've heard. I've heard it takes about 12 hours after the shot to set in, and then you're down for 24 hours, and then you're fine.
Yeah, well, hey, better safe than sorry. That's what it comes down to.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
No, I agree. And then there's some people that are against it. I think those people are idiots, number one. Everyone should get vaccinated so we can have immunity, herd immunity. And once that happens, things can slowly go back to normal. And some people get vaccinated and everyone's don't. With PG-13, this shit is going to go on forever. And so the faster everyone gets their shit together and say, you know what? I don't want a shot, but I don't want to get sick and die. do what you're supposed to, and we can wrap this up a lot better.
Preach. I agree with you 100%. One of the things I fell in love with acting the most is long form improv. I found it in college. I started doing long form improv shows. I moved to Los Angeles and I got involved with a comedy theater called WESTand that's closed now. It's no longer with us. But jumping up on stage and doing a completely made up half-hour show, it's just like making up a half-hour play for an audience. This shared experience between the players and the audience. It goes up once. It's the opening and the closing night. It's gone forever once it's done. I fell in love with that. And it was always my kind of barometer for how I'm doing. If I ever felt bad, I knew there was a comedy club I could go to, jump up on stage and try to light the stage on fire. Not literally, figuratively. And just, take comfort in like, oh, I still got it. I have this improv show. And now it's been over a year. I haven't done an improv show, which is crazy. That hasn't happened in the past 17 years of my life. There's never been a full year where I haven't done an improv show. So please, everyone, get your shot so we can have live performances again. Come on.
Well, if you're interested, just give me an idea. How would you like to do a live improv show on the KeithAndrewNetwork one day? We can set that up if you want to do that.
Yo, I would come. I could come alone. I could bring a team. We've done a few improv shows over Zoom, and they've been pretty successful. And I would absolutely be down to do an improv show with you.
Absolutely. And if we can do, like I said, on Zoom, we can do it on Instagram, so a lot of people can interact live. But definitely, it's a great idea. So look into that. Mm-hmm. But the first thing I want to ask you, because you mentioned, and as I mentioned, you're an actor, writer, producer. So this question, it's for all three. It's the same question, only you're replacing actor with a writer and writer as producer. Mm-hmm. So the first one I want to ask you is, what is the biggest change that you made in your acting career?
I opened up the idea of what acting is. When I started acting, it always goes back to love. I'm in love with this craft, right? My acting career is a love story. But I used to think it was about being the best actor out there. I wanted to be the best actor. Sure, revered as the best actor. And then at a certain point, I realized that isn't really a real thing. There's no real such thing as the best actor ever. It's more, can you be the best version of yourself and then be the best fit for this part that you're auditioning for? And when those two things come together, you make a piece of art that could be revered and remembered forever. But it's still the art and not the artist. So kind of shifting my view on that has been really helpful. And it's opened up my idea of what I'm going to do, because it went from like needing to be an Oscar-winning actor to, no, I kind of just want to grow with something. I would love to be a part on a television show for several seasons and just watch the arc of that character, grow with a character. Because growth as an artist and growth as a human are synonymous. They're happening at the same time.
Absolutely. And now the other part, same exact lesson, but let's act it in a kind of a different way. With what do you consider the highlight of your writing career?
Honestly, the highlight of my writing career is doing it, because I didn't think it was a thing that I did. I always just considered myself an actor and just would say to myself, well, I'm not a writer. And then in college, I adapted a short story into a play. And it was a pretty good play. And then all of a sudden in Los Angeles, I was asked to rewrite an existing property. So take a screenplay that's already been written, break it down, and then rewrite it. And I did it, and that movie got produced. So all of a sudden, it's a real thing. And then I wrote another feature film in addition to that. And from this past year during quarantine, I've been working on a pilot. And so it's just the confidence of like, oh no, you can actually do it. You can put that into your multi-hyphenate industry person. You can throw a writer in there because you actually know how to do it. And having that confidence is very important.
Oh, you have to have the heart and passion for what you're doing. If you don't have the heart and passion, you're just pretty much setting yourself up for failure, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, what do you think of this one? What is the biggest change you have made in your life? Do you think, because in Think and Feel, that as an actor, has that changed anything in your life? Being a writer and producer, has that give you a different outlook?
Yeah, absolutely. The writing and the production, it's like I said, it opened up avenues. Like it's opening up doors. I don't have to be a horse with blinders on and think like acting is the one and only thing. I think most people will find, especially in a place like Los Angeles, if you're trying to get into the industry in Los Angeles, you should be good at many different things because it's incredibly difficult out here. And it takes a great stroke of luck to move out and immediately make it, right? To book that big thing right away, it's not going to happen for a large number of people, right? Yeah, so you need something to keep you in the game. You need something to keep you here. You need something to make Los Angeles work for you. So having other avenues to pursue. I have a lot of, I teach improv as well. And I have a lot of students that when we talk about, well, what are you going to do after your time at the conservatory is over? I always talk a lot about like, well, if you fall in love with the film set itself, investigate being on all sides of it. So you keep yourself on a film set. So even when you're not acting, if you're doing PA work, if you know stuff about the equipment, if you can do sound, if you can do camera, it will lead to different avenues, right? And that's how did Sean become a producer? Well, it started with doing PA stuff and then growing with a group of people and then producing stuff ourselves. And then all of a sudden I'm in fact an actual executive producer, which again is not something I thought was going to happen. But it's opening doors, leaving avenues open for yourself. So you don't have to pigeonhole yourself into being an actor. Yes, you will be an actor. Yes, it will always be your one true love. Yes, you'll always fall back to it. But if you don't have other things to do, you might find yourself sitting around a lot, wondering what will happen next.
But you say you hit the, not to interrupt, I do apologize. Hello? But you did hit it on the head where you said you took a chance to make it in LA, but it's kind of like that same stereotype. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it is the same mindset. If you can make it in LA, you can pretty much make it anywhere.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. It really is. New York and LA are the places where you go to try to make it. And they're extremely difficult, but they have to be. They have to be. Otherwise, everyone would be here doing it. There'd be no jobs for anyone because everyone would already have them.
I do agree with that 100%. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
Yep.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to talk to you about disabilities and social media when we come back.
I'm Jenny Fine.
Hi, it's Mimi Chen.
Hi, my name is Ellen Dorsch.
I'm Shauna Todd.
Hey guys, I'm Anastasia Edwards.
Hi, this is Jackie Nunez.
Hi, I'm Millie Rose Fair.
Hey guys, I'm Alexandria Denise, and you're watching Keith Andrew's show. He's doing a terrific job. Make sure you like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the KeithAndrewNetWork. The following is brought to you by HB Gibson of the X Zone. Get into the zone. Not like AutoZone, but get into the zone. Also, it's brought to you by Life of a Fighter. If you're into fitness and eating healthy, you should definitely check out Life of a Fighter. Now, the last two questions I want to ask you, then I'm going to pass the show over to you, is you mentioned that you are a teacher and you teach people. So what's the big elephant in the room? Not honestly, we don't have Dumbo here, but it's the big elephant in the room. Have you ever taught people with disabilities? And are you willing to teach people with disabilities?
Willing? Absolutely. Have I, in fact, I believe there have been some students that have come through that have dyslexia. So a little bit. I will tell you, both of my parents were special education educators in the city of Revere, Massachusetts. So I grew up with a set of just wonderful, wonderful parents. So it's certainly not anything I would ever shy away from. I would 100%, I would be thrilled to teach anyone improvisation anywhere. And the reason why, just beyond, first of all, believing that classrooms should be equal and diverse. Second, I just love it so much. So no matter what I'm doing, no matter who I'm teaching, all I'm trying to do is install my love of this art form into that person. And you can do that with anyone as long as they have love in their heart.
No, absolutely. You know, as long as you're willing to learn, it doesn't matter how young you are or how old you are. It's something you always do until the day you die. So it's better to learn than just, drift away to nothingness.
Absolutely.
So the next one I want to ask you, social media. Can social media make you or break you? With Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, have these websites dictated if people should work with you? And have you had any opportunities because of them?
Mm-hmm. Well, social media is such an interesting construct to me. I consider myself an exennial. And what I mean is I was born in 1981, which technically is the first year of the millennials. So I identify with millennials a little bit, but also it's the first year of millennials. So I kind of identify with Gen X too. And I grew up without a cell phone. The first cell phone I got, which was like a brick Nokia phone that didn't even text, it could just make calls, I got when I was 20 years old. So I didn't even have a smartphone until probably when I was in my late 20s. And through college, there was no Wi-Fi or anything like that. So parts of social media to me are absolutely fascinating because I'm still kind of getting used to it. I'm so glad. I am so glad that it did not exist when I was in college, because there would have been some ridiculous videos of me out there existing out in the ether forever. I'm so glad that my artistic output with friends was games that we would write down on a piece of paper. We would journal, or we would draw, or we would write down things, and at least that exists or is lost, or is not everybody can just look at a notebook that I have underneath my bed, Right. So in that way, I think it can be incredibly invasive. And I'm not sure if youngsters like that now. Do they want their entire life out there? I mean, it's certainly led to a lot of bullying and a lot of looking at somebody else's profile and using that as kind of the image you want your life to become, which isn't always a good thing. I'm not entirely sure social media allows for people to grow up and truly discover themselves outside of that vacuum. And that's not good, right? But also, social media leads to some fantastic things. I mean, it led to this interview right now.
No, absolutely.
Right? I love social media for that. I love it for the connections that I've built. And I love it for being able to, find that perfect picture and put it out there. And like, look at this thing that I just saw. So it has its ups and its downs. Mixed review from Sean on social media.
No, you know what? The bottom line is how you treat it. If you abuse it, it's the same thing like owning a gun, taking drugs. It can be very addicting, but if you use it right and properly, yes, it's wonderful. But then you get to have a lot of people who are going to abuse it, and that's where all the BS comes from.
Yep.
And people are cowards too.
Yeah. Down with trolls. Down with trolls, up with living your life the way you want to live it. Be you. And don't be afraid to put the real you out there into the world. And down with trolls.
Nope, absolutely. Now, I'm going to pass this over to you with the last 5 minutes left. Was there anything you wanted to promote, ask me?
I would like to promote. So if you're in for a zany time, head over to Sci-Fi On Demand, the Sci-Fi Channel On Demand, and look for the show Held In. Held In is a quarter hour. It's a 15-minute animated sketch comedy show I made with my group of best friends that I discovered in the comedy world out here in LA. We found each other at IO West. We started working together. And one thing that work led to is 2 seasons. So there are 12 episodes of this show Held In out there on Sci-Fi On Demand. So check it out, watch it with your friends, watch it late at night when you're snacking. It is definitely a late night animation show for some wild fun times.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, would you consider it on a scale of Harvey Birdman, Family Guide, or Adventure Brothers?
Oh yeah. Okay. So it's Robot Chicken. It's a lot like Robot Chicken meets Mystery Science Theater. So it's not very I guess Adventure Time, maybe out of those 3 you listed, maybe it's closest to, because it's wacky. It's wacky, but the best comparison is Robot Chicken meets Mystery Science Theater.
No, absolutely. There's some stupid ones, but hands down, not saying you're so stupid. I'm not saying there's some stupid ones, but Robot Chicken does have its moments where it can be really funny and really stupid.
Yep, absolutely.
Now the last. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
And I gotta say, I'm not entirely sure that's not like really funny, really stupid is kind of my MO. People are always like, what's your favorite movie? And I think, if you're really into film, people might expect, The Godfather or Citizen Kane. And I'm like, Big Trouble in Little China. And so my tastes are out there to begin with.
I hear you. I think we're in the same boat on that one.
Yeah.
Now, for me, someone says, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, well, there's a lot of them. You talking about cartoons or reality? I say Transformers, 2007 was really good.
Okay.
Jurassic Park, what I saw as a kid.
Amazing.
I guess 2012. 2012 was pretty funny. Wasn't meant to be funny, but, it's as much.
Right.
But there's so many great movies out there. Even movies, you mentioned you were born in 81. I was born in 88, so it's only a 7-year difference. But same thing in the 80s. You had some good movies and you had some shitty ones. Like, people are like, oh, how great was Howard the Duck? Howard the Duck, he sucks.
Oh, I used to love that movie when I was a kid. But it's crazy. It's crazy to go back and watch it now because it's an absolutely ridiculous movie. But like, Tim Robbins is in that movie, and that makes me so happy. The first movie I saw in theaters was Return of the Jedi, and I saw it before I knew how to read. So when Jabba the Hutt was talking, I saw it with my uncle. My uncle had to read me the subtitles to let me know what Jabba was saying because I couldn't read.
A lot of people make fun of me for this. I like Asian girls, and one reason I say that is I watched a lot of anime when I was younger, and the one anime I used to watch a lot was Godzilla. I was obsessed with Godzilla when I was 4 years old.
Yes. Yeah.
But wrapping up our talk show, how can our listeners follow you? Are you on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter?
I'm out there on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter. You'll find all of those with my first and last name, Twitter and Instagram. It's just all lowercase together, SeanCowhig, SeanCowhig. Look for me.
Absolutely. And now I do have a couple questions for you off the air. Wrapping up our interview segment, it was a real honor and privilege having you as a guest. Looking forward to part 2. And for our listeners out there, make sure to like and subscribe to the Keith Andrew Network, available on YouTube.com, Facebook, and Instagram. Hashtag KeithAndrewNetwork. You have to see all my work. Wrapping up, it was a real honor and privilege. I just want to say thank you for your time.